It was a headline that stopped fans, journalists, and the entire Korean entertainment industry in their tracks. Gong Yoo makes Im Soo Jung happy all night long. The phrasing was provocative, suggestive, and irresistible. Social media exploded. Twitter trended within minutes. YouTube channels that track K-drama stars rushed to upload speculation videos. What happened? Is it romantic? Are they dating again? Did they reunite secretly? But beneath the tabloid-style headline was something more layered, something more personal. It wasn't a love scandal. It wasn't a leaked paparazzi photo. It wasn't a confession of a secret child or a hidden marriage. It was, in fact, something more rare in the age of clickbait, something real. Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung had shared a stage once again, this time not as lovers in a romantic drama, but as collaborators in a deeply emotional, unscripted night of art, storytelling, and shared memory. The event in question was a private, industry-only reading of a new screenplay, a passion project written by a mutual friend, intended not for production, but for expression. Held at a small theater in Seoul's Hongdae district, the reading was never meant to be public knowledge. It wasn't advertised, recorded, or even fully documented. But someone in the room, whether a guest, a staff member, or a member of the cast, leaked a single blurry image and a cryptic caption. They were the last two to leave. And she was glowing. The post was taken down within hours. But by then, the internet had already seized upon it. Why were they reading a script together in secret? What was the project about? And more importantly, why did so many who attended call it one of the most emotionally powerful nights of their lives? The answer lies in the long and complicated history between Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung. Over a decade ago, they starred in Finding Mr. Destiny, a romantic comedy that was sweet, quirky, and commercially successful. Their chemistry was undeniable. Interviews from that time showed them laughing easily, finishing each other's sentences, showing the kind of natural connection that often fuels real-life romance rumors. For years, fans speculated that something might have happened between them off-screen. Neither ever confirmed anything. Both were famously private. But something about them lingered. In the years that followed, they took drastically different paths. Gong Yoo leaned into complex and physically demanding roles, Train to Busan, The Age of Shadows, Guardian, The Lonely and Great God. He became one of Korea's most respected leading men, a figure of masculine emotionality and brooding depth. Im Soo Jung, meanwhile, chose quieter roles, emotionally introspective films like Happiness, Perfect Proposal, and dramas that challenged conventions. She became known as an actress of restraint and subtlety, able to express volumes with a single look. They were no longer seen together publicly. Their careers didn't intersect. But in interviews, whenever either name came up, there was a softness. Gong Yoo once said in a radio interview, "She's one of the most emotionally intelligent people I've worked with." And when Im Soo Jung was asked about co-stars she'd like to reunite with, she paused and simply said, "I think we still have a story left." When the anonymous event came to light, fans reacted as if fate had finally brought them back together. And maybe it had. The screenplay they read that night was called The Last Letter. It was written by a mutual friend, reportedly a screenwriter who had worked with both actors early in their careers, and it was, according to one source, a love story that never quite resolves. Two people who are always almost, but never fully, together. Attendees described the reading as unbearably intimate. Gong Yoo's voice reportedly cracked during the final monologue. Im Soo Jung cried through the second act. When the reading was over, the two actors embraced for a long time, long enough that the room went silent. One assistant director who was present later posted, and quickly deleted, "That wasn't acting, that was something else." In that moment, the narrative took on a life of its own. Fan forums reignited. Edits of their past interviews surfaced. Videos from their 2010 promotions were re-uploaded. Tweets speculating on a secret romance reached hundreds of thousands of likes. Someone even mapped their public schedules and claimed to find coincidences where they were in the same cities at the same time. The idea that Gong Yoo had made her happy all night long evolved from a clickbait line into a romantic myth. But what if it wasn't a myth? What if it was just two people, deeply connected by history and art, finding space to be honest again? if only for one night. Im Soo Jung herself gave an interview just days after the event. When asked about her current project, smiled softly and said, "I recently revisited something very close to my heart. It reminded me why I started this journey. It was healing, healing." That word rang out across fan spaces like a confirmation. Healing from what? From heartbreak? From regret? From years of what-ifs? Gong Yoo has remained characteristically silent. His management offered no comment. But those who know him say he's been more introspective lately. Longtime stylist commented anonymously, "He's more grounded these days. Like he found peace somewhere." Could that peace have come from reconnection? From an unfinished story brought back to life? Whether romantic or not, connection is real, and it captured the public imagination because it taps into something deeper than gossip. It's about timing, about what it means to grow separately and still find your way back to someone who once mattered deeply. The night may have ended, but the story, clearly, hasn't. In the days following their secret script reading, the name Gong Yoo became synonymous not just with talent, but with mystery. And Im Soo Jung, long admired for her depth and grace, suddenly felt like the heroine of a new story, one written by fate, unfinished until now. The entertainment industry, as it often does, fell into two camps. One camp believed this was all just a beautifully orchestrated reunion, artistic, emotional, but not necessarily romantic. The other camp, louder and more invested, was convinced that this was a love story years in the making finally getting its quiet continuation. And as rumors continued to swirl, more pieces began surfacing. According to sources close to the production, the last letter wasn't just a script, it was autobiographical. Or at least, inspired by real events. The writer reportedly told colleagues, "I wrote it for two people who inspired me when I first started writing. I watched them work together. I watched what wasn't said between them." When asked if he meant Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung, he refused to answer directly. But insiders noted that the original draft had been written over a decade ago, soon after Finding Mr. Destiny premiered. This revelation sent fans into a frenzy. The story was written about them. If the characters were reflections of who they were then, did their performance during the reading reflect how they felt now? Was it catharsis? Closure? Or confession? In an industry where every word is scrutinized, their silence spoke volumes. Neither star denied the rumors, neither addressed the headlines, but their social media activity told a subtler tale. Im Soo Jung posted a simple photo, a window at night, light spilling onto a hardwood floor, no caption. No hashtags. Gong Yoo, a week later, posted a photo of a letter, sealed with a wax stamp. Again, no caption. To most, those are nothing but abstract images. For fans, it was poetry. Beyond the fan reactions, the story captured the attention of fellow actors and industry veterans. One director who worked with both in the early 2010s remarked in a podcast, "They had a rhythm, even back then. Them that wasn't rehearsed. It was the kind you don't get often unless there's history." Another actor, a friend of both, was asked on a variety show if the two were dating. She smiled, paused, and said, "Let's just say, they understand each other on a level that most of us never reach." And so the question grew not only louder, more meaningful. What does it mean to find someone who understands you in the way Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung seem to? Some fans clung to the romantic hope that they had been lovers before, had lost each other. Now, older and wiser, were finding their way back. Believe theirs was a bond deeper than romance, soulmates, not necessarily lovers, and perhaps both views are true. Or neither. But the magic of that one night, and the way it rippled outward, could not be denied. Articles analyzing their body language trended across online platforms. Edits of scenes from their past works were overlaid with quotes from the last letter. Fanfiction exploded, imagining how they might have drifted apart, and how this night might have changed everything. Even those not typically interested in celebrity gossip found themselves captivated by the sheer humanity of the story. Because at its heart, it wasn't just about Gong Yoo or Im Soo Jung. It was about reconnection. About timing. About the possibility that sometimes, life offers you a second chance, not in headlines, But in quiet spaces like dim theaters and unspoken glances, industry experts weighed in on the career implications. A PR executive explained, if they're truly back in each other's lives, they'll have to navigate very carefully. Their images are tied to integrity and independence. Confirming a romance could be received well, but only if handled with complete sincerity, a casting director admitted. Since the reading went public, several producers have been scrambling to find a project for them to co-star in. Everyone sees the magic now. It's undeniable. Indeed, industry insiders now whisper of a possible on-screen reunion, something that fans are both hoping for and fearing might ruin the intimacy of that unscripted moment they already shared. Can magic like that be bottled, filmed, sold? Or does it lose something the moment it becomes content? As speculation about a new project grows, others are turning their focus inward, rethinking their own relationships. On forums and blogs, people write essays about the one that got away, about timing and reconnection. One post reads, watching them. Remember the person I haven't spoken to in 8 years. I messaged him. Sometimes, art does that. Opens something old and makes it new. Even Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung's colleagues reportedly felt moved by the night. A sound tech wrote anonymously, it felt like I was eavesdropping on two people who forgot the rest of us were there. Don't see that often, not even in love stories. What happens next is anyone's guess. Maybe there will be a reunion project. Maybe there won't. Maybe they're together. Maybe it was just one beautiful night. But the fact that the question remains unanswered might be the very thing that keeps the magic alive. Because some stories aren't meant to be explained. Some moments lose their meaning once they're defined. And some connections, whether romantic, platonic, or something in between, are too delicate to survive the glare of public confirmation. Perhaps that's why both Gong Yoo and Im Soo Jung have chosen silence. Not out of secrecy, but out of reverence. For the moment. For the memory. For the truth that only they know. What is certain is this, they made each other happy that night. That much, everyone agrees on. Whether it was through laughter, shared memories, long overdue honesty, or a rekindled love, the result was the same. Im Soo Jung, glowing as she left the theater. Gong Yoo, softer than he's been in years. And maybe that's all we need to know. Because sometimes, the best endings are the ones we don't see, only feel. And this one? It felt like something we'll remember for a long, long